Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. And if you do find any of the information in this video valuable, useful, or interesting in any sort of way possible, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a future update. But with that being said, let's just jump in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, when we are talking about Bitcoin and of course altcoin impulses, I want you all to pay attention to Monday the 28th because it is not only the monthly candle close, but it is also the day that the major indices do open. And when we are talking about the major indices, yes, that will lead us to major impulses throughout this market because of course stocks are the things to really kind of watch for if you are looking at crypto. But also stocks have been rallying greatly lately, especially with the things going on in Russia and stuff with the Ukraine. When we are talking about that, it could be a catalyst for a major impulse on the stock market, which will of course bleed into crypto. So I want you to all pay attention to Monday the 28th. Make sure that you guys do watch the indices that day. But with that being said, I do want to talk to you guys about this video here. So we do see here, then the West will adopt XRP 3 to 5 second settlement for the fraction of a penny. Interledger has already been successfully tested by the European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, and Bank of England. Now, I want you to all real quick before I play this video understand that one, Ripple is working with the Digital Pound Foundation as well as the Digital Euro Association. They already have their foot in the door for major CBDCs around the world as well. They have a ton of partnerships with major financial institutions, and they have been doing incredibly well in terms of on-demand liquidity volume, as well as their corridors that they have set up around the world. I want you to all realize that Ripple has positioned themselves for something like this for the last decade. They have been building, they have been slowly, and I should say, not technically slowly, but they have been grasping a large percentage of the global population for, CBDCs and digitization of course, the payment system. But check this out. Listen closely to this video.
Russia, China, Iran, and many other countries don't like the domination the United States has over the SWIFT system, and it really is only a matter of time before there are multiple systems. Bitcoin is already functioning to a degree like that. So this would be a very dangerous step because it would accelerate the end of the SWIFT monopoly.
And honestly, this is true. Like when we're talking about sanctions being put on these nations, trust me, do I support it? Yeah, I do. Because, when we're talking about what Russia's doing, I don't really believe that that is the answer to, sort of any sort of situation. But when we are talking about sanctions with SWIFT and, utilizing it as, a financial weapon, that is an issue. And of course, these nations see that they want to pull out of this SWIFT network. It's extremely old. These legacy platforms are just not efficient enough at all to handle the scalability of course, the world. And when we are talking about SWIFT, it has been outdated for a very long time. And honestly, this is why I do see things like this from Linkto. What if Russia is a catalyst to flipping the switch? Similar to El Salvador announcing Bitcoin is legal tender, what if Ripple announces it stands behind the sanctions? Are we entering the final act? And this is also quoting this ECB urges haste on crypto regulation in wake of Russian sanctions. Honestly, when we are talking about the flip the switch moment, I think it will be something similar to the El Salvador announcement, but I think it's going to be much bigger than that. Honestly, if we are talking about Ripple, I think that, like I said, Ripple is well positioned to step in here. I think that they are well positioned to become, the major next network if we do come down to that. And I don't think that it's going to be 100% all volume over RippleNet. Of course, there's going to be other networks that are chosen, but that is also why I hold QNT, because interoperability will still be key at that point in time to transact and really kind of, move those messaging formats over the network to the other network. But also in terms of this ECB announcement, yes, Christine Lagarde basically called for crypto regulation in response to Russia potentially evading sanctions. I did mention this in my XLM video from yesterday. When we were talking about this, I could honestly see, an executive order that is coming up this week, I believe, possibly usher in crypto regulation. And I do think that Ripple will most likely have a hand in this. I think that when we go back in time a little bit to November of this, or last year, sorry, we did see Ripple outlined that possible regulatory framework for crypto, for the entire crypto industry, I should say. But I do think that this is very good. I think that when we are talking about Ripple, I think that this regulatory framework could be ushered in because honestly, right now, I don't think that the SEC understands how to, one, technically regulate crypto. I don't think that they know how to properly do it in a legitimate way that doesn't stifle innovation. But Ripple, we already know Ripple has been supporting crypto since day one, so I think that their regulatory framework would most likely be the best currently. And I do think that, it could be, a major catalyst. I think that this entire Russian, event could possibly be the catalyst to move crypto even further in terms of adoption and innovation. And I think that this all I think it all comes back to one major thing, and that is, of course, regulation. And I think that once we do see regulations come into the space, I think that XRP will have regulatory clarity. I think that this is just a massive domino effect. Also, we do see here, just in the White House confirms that certain Russian banks will be cut from SWIFT. This is exactly why, when we're talking about what Ripple is doing and the SWIFT network, this is where we will see, of course, the SWIFT network collapse. I think that this is where we will see the major catalyst event for the SWIFT network to fully, pretty much, I would say, fall apart. I mean, it's going to disrupt the massive legacy network that we are utilizing on a day-to-day basis, and this will usher in, the next big thing. And the next big thing is most likely crypto-dominated networks. So I'm definitely paying attention to the things that are unfolding. I think that everyone who is a part of crypto should also be doing this. And of course, when we are talking about, Christine Lagarde with these, regulatory, regulations that they're bringing onto crypto, we can kind of tie it back into time, going back to 2020. We do see here, can XRP fit in Christine Lagarde's vision of EU's future economy? Ripple CEO might just think so. And this actually goes back to when Christine Lagarde has described a technology crucial to the EU's future economy, and it matched the description of XRP. It also got Ripple CEO's attention. This is going back to this tweet from September of 2020. Now we need faster digital transition, climate protection as a priority, completed banking union and capital markets union backed by cutting-edge payment systems. And of course, Brad Garlinghouse went to retweet this. He did. And this is exactly where we do see, of course, major connections being built. I honestly think that when we even go back in time to this screenshot here, where we did see Brad Garlinghouse sitting at the board of the Chief Executive Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Christine Lagarde as well, Chairman of the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, and then Director of Monetary Markets, IMF, this all will tie back to some major connections here. I think that this is all one big plan, honestly. I don't like to be a tinfoil hat wearer or a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of the things that we have seen in the past happened from this meeting. For example, we go back to, this goes back to February of 2018. Saudi Arabia's central bank signs blockchain deal with Ripple. Okay? I want you to all understand that this is the chairman of the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. Again, this was an inked deal. Again, this is to pilot the first of its kind to be launched by a central bank, allowing banks in Saudi Arabia to use Ripple software to instantly settle payments sent into and out of the country, the company said late on Wednesday. This is huge. Faster, cheaper, and more transparent cross-border transactions. Ripple said, adding that the central bank would provide training to Saudi banks interested in the program. This is going to be huge, okay? And things like this have been, growing and growing and growing in demand. Even if we go back in time a little bit here to February 25th, again, this is, more so of a collage of all the major updates that have happened. But we do see our countries may add Bitcoin to their books and make it a legal tender, but nobody is looking into Bitcoin CBDCs. When you hear CBDC/DOT, they're almost always referring to XRP as a back-end neutral bridge. 50% of you will be shocked, but it's old news. I won't debate this. It definitely is old news. Again, this goes back to October 14th. This was the Digital Pound Foundation designing a path for CBDC for future. Okay? And then, of course, we do see our Swiss and French central banks involved in crypto trial, but is it with Ripple XRP Ledger technology? This goes back to June of 2021. The Swiss and French central banks have announced that along with a consortium of private players that includes Accenture, which we know is a huge connection to XRP and major digital currencies, they would be conducting using central bank digital currencies for cross-border settlement. All of this is directly connected to the bigger picture, which is, of course, one, yes, we are marching into CBDCs in general, but of course, all of this is directly tied back to XRP in some sort of way. We even see here, though the banks have not declared on which ledger it would be in, there is speculation that it might be built on Ripple. Ripple is known to have, been building a private ledger for use by central banks, and it is also known the French central bank had preferred Ripple as the ledger of choice for a digital currency. Again, this is all going back to tokenization, CBDCs in general, and of course, digitization of the payment structure that we are utilizing currently. And then, of course, Ripple written evidence, central bank digital currencies inquiry. Again, this is all talking about CBDCs with the UK, HM Treasury as well. All of this goes hand in hand with the Digital Pound Foundation, which of course also led us directly to, the Digital Euro Association. All of this is so big. I don't think people realize the things that are being built. Like, Ripple has laid the foundation to become the network of choice if, of course, SWIFT is no longer, the dominated, payment or financial system. Sorry. Ripple to pilot Bhutan CBDC using private ledger. The test is part of Bhutan's goal to bring its population to 85% financial inclusion status by 2023 as well. This goes back to September 2021. All of this is huge. I want you to all realize that if they're trying to get instant payments as well, they will be utilizing XRP. And we even see here in terms of the RippleNet versus Swift GPI system, you could read all about it. Yeah, sure, at this point in time, it is a little bit outdated in terms of a graphic because you do see Bank of America, PNC, and things like that labeled on the major clients, but a lot of the text still stands. Okay, a lot of this has been, rebranded in general, but again, you could still see the major tech behind this. You could see instant payment, instant settlement. This is where we do see. So first off, instant settlement and liquidity sourcing is the biggest selling point for RippleNet. RippleNet products and RippleNet itself is going to be huge just simply because of these two alone. On-demand liquidity and, of course, instant settlement is the biggest key aspects to this. It's also the major inefficiencies that Swift does deal with on a day-to-day basis. We also see the transfer speed here, FX rates as well, data, technology, architecture, all of this in mind when we're talking about the advantages and we're talking about even the disadvantages. Honestly, when we're talking about XRP and where Ripple does stand in terms of, versus Swift, it's clear and cut. I made a video the other day talking to you guys about how much money these major institutions can save if they utilize RippleNet with, of course, XRP. If they use RippleNet, it's like a 33% reduction in fees. That's great. Incredible. Trust me, 33%, that's awesome. But if they utilize XRP with that, it's about like 60%. So if I was a financial institution and I was going to use RippleNet, why wouldn't I utilize XRP with it? It's just a no-brainer move because, one, you save so much more money. It is so much, in my mind, it is so much better for the small guys too. Like if you're doing P2P remittance payments and stuff like that, you still save a ton of money as well if you were, to say for so do like a wire transfer or so. All of this is huge for not only CBDC demand, for banks in general, but also for retail demand as well. Retail individuals could benefit from utilizing RippleNet as well. With Swift, if you use the Swift network, which we all do basically on a day-to-day basis, there's really no efficiencies for us. It's honestly extremely expensive. It has failure rates. It is just a terrible system in general. And with all of this in mind, right, when we go back to this first video, we are at an economic war. We are in economic warfare once we do bring in Swift access, right? Once we start to block Swift access from these major banks, which we have started to do, like I said, we have started to do that. I showed you guys this. This is from the White House themselves. That is economic warfare. We are now in an economic war. And I think that now is really the time where banks will start to move in on crypto. In fact, we even see your Goldman Sachs executive joins Coinbase. It's time to embrace the crypto economy. Everything is moving forward with crypto. Crypto is growing and growing and growing day by day. It is something that is far too big to ignore. RippleNet by itself is far too big to ignore as well. And with everything happening in the world, I definitely think that this is a major catalyst event to move us forward in time on a lot of things in regards to even regulations, but also mass adoption of crypto technology. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on. If you guys don't want free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.